welcome back.
Hell yeah, brother.
It's been a long month.
The longest of months.
I know, I feel like Thursday? No, that's when Thanksgiving is. November. Yeah. Yeah. November feels like it was a long time ago. It was a Thursday when we posted last for Thanksgiving
Oh, I
last
see what
month.
I see. I wasn't really like picking up what you were
Yeah.
moving towards.
Yeah. So it's felt like a while, but we did promise you guys that we would get you a Christmas episode, and that's what we're gonna do.
And we're here. We're here, men of our words.
We promised. We
Doing the
followed
Christmases.
through. It's Christmas time.
But what exactly are we talking about for Christmas?
Well, here on Dookie
Presents?
Shorts, here on Dookie Shorts, we talk about whatever the hell we want to talk about.
What?
So I know we've done some,
Outrageous.
we've done some different creatures, some cryptids.
Disasters.
We've done some disasters. It's we have a long history with the North Woods
saying,
currently. And we decided that we really liked that last month when we did the Thanksgiving episode.
Previously, yes.
Just a month ago. We really enjoy just winging it, So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna wing it.
Wing it.
We're gonna wing it. Wing it.
Right.
Tommy like wingers.
I love that show. All right, let's do this. What are we talking about?
We're gonna talk about Krampus.
Krampus.
Yeah.
What's
Good old Krampus. Don't say what is Krampus. Don't talk to me like
Okay.
you've never heard of Krampus before.
Without saying what is Krampus, can you explain what Krampus is to the viewer who probably knows less about it than I do?
Listen, if you don't know what Krampus is,
Keith is going to explain it to you.
I'm gonna let you know. You're gonna learn today. I'm gonna do a quick overview. When I look at, we talked about the paper. We talked about the paper. We haven't learned anything in the last month. It's only been a month. Give us some time, and we'll learn.
We're picking up lessons.
So here we go. For those of you listening at home,
At the news desk.
or in your car. So who or what is Krampus? Is that
Pray tell.
Pray
Keith,
tell. All right.
Who and or what is Krampus?
This is a figure. No. It's not. Person. Why would you say it's a figure? Who wrote this?
You, like 12 minutes ago.
Quiet time.
Okay.
This figure is a staple of Alpine
Alpine folklore.
You should be doing this.
You want me to read it for you?
Yeah, if you could, that'd be great. It's the whole top section. The top section.
Wow.
The rest
really not readable.
Well, that's again. We don't want them to pause and move ahead.
It's true.
Sons of bitches.
Am I reading this?
Read the top section. Top section.
So who
I'll be over here.
or what is Krampus?
I said that already.
This figure is a staple of Alpine folklore, particularly in countries like Austria, Germany, and Hungary.
It rolls off the tongue.
His origins date back to pre-Christian pagan traditions.
Back in the day.
Where he was seen as a horned demon or half-goat, half-man creature.
I don't know how to do a goat.
Is that like bah? Is that
that's a lamb.
Okay, what? Close enough. Krampus was often associated with winter solstice, symbolizing the darker, chaotic side of nature. When Christianity spread across Europe, Krampus became intertwined with St. Nicholas traditions. While St. Nick rewards the good children with gifts and sweets, Krampus punishes the naughty ones, sometimes with a swat of his birch branch. I'm really glad you're not reading that, because you're not getting through that one.
No.
Or worse.
None of this rolls off the tongue.
Or worse, by stuffing them into his sack and carting them off. That is violent. I don't like this. In modern times, Krampus has seen a revival in pop culture, from Krampus parades in Europe called Krampusnacht.
Yeah, Krampusnacht.
To appearances in horror films and even greeting cards. That would be a questionable greeting card.
To be honest, the greeting cards are really popular.
Are they?
Like right around World War II, they were really popular.
Oh, interesting. He's become a kind of anti-hero for those who think Christmas needs a little more bite. I can get on board with that. Pretty well, right? But before I go further, before Keith goes further, let him hand it over to me, co-host's name.
See? Got it. His name's Moppy.
Or Matthew.
Or Matthew, I suppose.
It's like, yeah. Like,
See?
I'm really happy I got to read that.
See, you're welcome.
It
was all planned. It was all
fantastic
planned.
Return from 1 month ago.
It's just like such a long month. I felt like we didn't get as much time to do research. Like you would have thought a month would have been enough time.
You also have to remember, I mean, it's
It's the
a
holidays.
holiday
It's the
month.
holidays.
We got
I
that
ate
last
all
one
that
done.
cream corn.
Yeah, we got the last one done right at the end of November, and now we're relatively early December.
It really is. It really is.
This is.
We'll
really
work on. We'll get
nothing.
the next one. I already have research on a few.
Mhm.
Matthew's got one he's cooking up. Maybe we'll make sure he cooks one up.
It's going to be underdone.
It's just like the turkey.
We don't talk about the turkey.
The tri-tip was beautiful.
Yes.
Okay,
Krampus.
Krampus. You got the rundown.
Yes.
Who is he? What is he? Let's go over some physical features of the Krampus. What do you think Krampus looks like from your
Well,
mild experience of
based
Krampus?
on sort of the explanation you gave and my very naive exposure to the topic, I would say sort of devilish, but not, none of the red hue stuff. Just sort of like, horns and dark appearance, scraggly, sort of not all put together.
That's fair. All right, that's good. I mean, there are definitely versions of him that are red, but not for the most part. For the most part, he's more of like furry, neutral colors.
Like
More,
blends into nature kind of thing.
yeah, it's really more of like the old, like I would say, either Druidic or like Scandinavian or German lore of a woodsy creature
Yeah.
that is part fawn and part human, like a pan creature,
Okay.
but much larger and scarier than you would think of, and with demonic features. Um,
I'm kind of surprised there's no eating of children in this versus, shoving them in a sack. Seems
Okay.
a little tame
so
compared to like.
there definitely are eating versions.
Oh,
So this creature,
okay.
depending on the lore, there is either Krampus
Mhm.
or there are Krampuses.
Crampi.
Crampi, one might say. I wouldn't.
I did though.
You did.
I literally just said it.
Crampi.
Crampi.
So there could be lots of them that do this, which would make more sense because he only has one night of the year to do this.
Right.
Um,
So you'd want to make sure that you have lots of different locations so you can beat it.
but he's really the counterpart to Santa or Saint Nick, who does everything in one.
That's a good
night
point.
too, so-
it's sort of like some kind of time dilation thing.
Yeah. Generally speaking, it's a male-ish creature. There is one area in Germany where there's a woman version, but it's super rare. Pretty much all of them are male-orientated, like half man, half beast / devil. So I'm going to go over some of the physical traits that are generally found. Again, there are lots of different stories. Are you playing footsie with me right now?
A little bit.
Jesus
I was just adjusting myself.
Yeah, I didn't notice that. Yikes. Physical features. All right, so half goat, half demon is a pretty, like what we were saying. He's got hooved feet. He's all furry. He has horns. He's got kind of a, human-esque face, but gnarly looking. So horns,
I'm
clawed.
picturing kind of like an overbite.
Yeah, absolutely. Like big, like jaw, teeth, enough to
Canines
maybe
and
eat
just,
children.
yeah.
Horns, clawed hands. In fact, the clawed hand is the word Krampus comes from an abbreviated German word that sounds a lot like it, which I don't know how to pronounce, but it's basically like a shortened version of Krampus, like cramp or something. It's not cramp, but
Yeah.
look it up.
Sure.
It means claw.
He's talking to you guys.
You guys.
Look it up.
It means claw. Come and look at you. Come here. So that's where the name originated. It was a claw. Sharp teeth, long tongue. So like any of the older pictures that you definitely forked, long, thin, devil-like, snake-like. Their full hairy bodies tend to have red eyes. But it's not red eyes. We're not talking about the Hodag, like we talked about like 2 months ago.
Yeah. I mean, 3 months ago?
Maybe 3 months ago.
Episode 1.
And episode
4.
3.5.
Oh, right. When we did the on location.
On
That was a fun
location.
trip.
It was. We should do that again. Not there, but we might have to go
Elsewhere.
I got another one in Wisconsin we'll go to. But anyways, his eyes are supposed to be the eyes of red coals. Like
Okay.
burning red coals.
So like if it's pitch black
Smoky.
and dark, you kind of see them piercing through the
Exactly.
darkness. Yeah.
So one of the things is he also has chains. They tend to be rusty chains that rattle ominously when he approaches. He also wears bells. So if you think of like Christmas bells, he has bells on him so that they rattle when he's like coming up to your house in the middle of the night.
That's a weird combination.
Yeah, chains
Like,
and bells, they're making noise. He's not afraid to be hurt.
right.
He wants you to know he's coming, and he's probably going to cut off your
People are
head.
like, well,
We'll get to it.
okay. Me scared.
One of the things
I'm in danger.
one of the things he tends to carry on his back is a sack or a basket, and this is twofold. So sometimes he takes children, stuffs them in a sack, and takes them to hell. And by hell, in some traditions, I mean Helheim, because there is a Norse aspect of this too. But one of the things is he takes bad children to hell, and sometimes eats them. The other thing he carries,
Light snack.
I mean, it's a long trip to hell.
And yeah, absolutely.
The other thing he carries is a bundle of birch branches. So sticks.
I almost stumbled over that.
The birch branches?
The birch branches is sort of.
It's not easy to say.
No.
It's not easy to say. But he uses it to smack naughty children, generally in the legs.
Okay.
It's just like, you're bad. I'm going to smack you with a stick.
This guy is very extreme. You know, like the chop off your head, eat you, or slap you in the leg with a birch branch. Sort of.
So
These are not really in the same, kind of middle ground at all.
yeah. And that the reason for that is this is a real broad generalization of what Krampus is. There are literally like probably hundreds of villages that have different orientations on who this
versions.
Yeah, and they all have, and it's changed throughout the years, just like Santa Claus has changed throughout the years. So they, depending on how much you're trying to scare the children, basically, is how evil he is. The real concept of him is he's not evil at all. That's more of, Christianity got involved and made the,
They do that.
fawn-like creature with horns evil, when really he was an opposite of Santa Claus or Saint Nick. So Santa Claus's job, and it was also to make Santa Claus not be the bad guy, because there were times when Santa Claus did both. And then they kind of brought this character in to say, listen, we need somebody that's going to teach bad kids to not be assholes.
Yeah.
So part of what he did isn't so much being evil as encouraging naughty kids to be nice. But obviously, like, there's such a wide range. Like, there's a concept of, he smacks them with a stick, he gives them coal, he scares them, like things like that, just trying to push kids to be good.
Right.
Whereas then you have the other versions where he literally cuts off their head and juggles them, eats them, takes them back to hell. Like, those kids were bad. Like
That I don't think bad quite covers it with that one, but okay, I can.
I personally think during that time, it was a time when kids and people in general died more often than they do now. And I think some of those were used as stories to teach kids safety as well.
Yeah,
So
it's sort of like a
they had to-
cautionary tale for things.
They had to up the
up the ante.
ante on those to get kids to be like, you got to be good for goodness sake. You know what I'm saying?
And I mean, Santa Claus has to check that list twice.
Yes.
He can't. It's nice to have sort of the positive side and the negative side. So instead of Santa being the bad guy,
I mean, there's actually an argument to discuss Santa for just a moment.
Sure.
That he is considered
tangent.
a deity,
Oh,
equivalent on par with a god,
whoa.
like with a capital G. So,
Okay.
what do you
I didn't
think
know
that
this
is? What do you think? We think about Santa.
Yeah.
What are Santa's abilities that would allow him to be not only a deity, but like capital G?
Big boy God.
Not God in the sense of like maybe the Christian God, but God in the sense of multiple religions like Norse gods or Greeks, Romans, stuff like that.
Well, like the teleporting and then kind of appearing all over the world seems pretty
Powerful.
suspect.
Little OG.
Yeah. Well, OP.
OP? Yeah, exactly.
That'd be a superpower I could get on board with.
So this is the reason I think of it, and other people I've researched. So they look at him as a high deity, not just a regular deity. One, he has those abilities, but two, he has the ability to see you when you're sleeping and know when you're awake, which makes him omnipotent, which is like
Scary.
OP level.
Yeah.
He also can judge if you've been good or bad. So he's judging your soul. Like, he's deciding if you're a good person or not.
Without necessarily knowing all the, like, he knows all the
He
facts,
knows
but
all
it's
the
not
facts.
like he's there.
Yeah, he's not. So those are pretty high level. He also has a counterbalance. So if he is the good, he has a Krampus, which is the bad. Which most major deities that have good and bad, because they don't all do that, but they usually have a counterpart, which is one of the things that makes them more of a overpowered god.
Right.
Just a little tangent for the Santa Claus lore, or Saint Nicholas, which is not quite the same. Santa Claus has a lot of backstory that all merge into what we consider Santa Claus in the United States today.
Is it like in the 70s or something? 80s?
It was probably earlier than that. It's Coca-Cola. Like our Santa Claus today came from Coca-Cola. The red suit came from Coca-Cola. Yep, look at that. Thanks, Coke. The beard, the overweight jolly. Yeah, that's all Santa. That's all Coca-Cola Santa Claus that we have created today. If you look back in the day, Odin was one of the forebearers of who Santa Claus is. The rituals of bringing a tree into your home and decorating it is all, Old Norse and German folklore. Having elves is old German folklore that we've all just kind of pick
and choose
turned into what we call Christmas now, which is fantastic.
Right.
And I think Santa Claus just becomes like more and more powerful and real in our minds as multiple religions and multiple societies have added to his lore. He just becomes a bigger and bigger creature.
That's sort of like a big melting pot of different like traditions and superstitions and
absolutely just combining and becoming more and more throughout time. So, but yeah, that's my little insertion on why I personally think Santa Claus is a deity. Maybe not capital G, but not a demigod. Like old school, powerful deity. If you want to go back to Saint Nicholas, who was a real person and was a really nice guy, church loved him.
Yeah.
People loved him.
Made him a saint.
Yeah, made him a saint.
That's
yeah.
Saint Nicholas.
Do you know?
No, I don't. You can.
What the combination is?
The sentence. No, I don't.
Do you know why? Like some of the things that we do today, based off of that character, that person. Can you?
Like such as
such as stockings.
Okay.
Come from him, and the chimney comes from him.
Like coming down the chimney, that stuff?
Yep. But it's kind of a... I'm going to explain what it is, but it's not like, oh yeah, he came down the chimney or like he filled stockings. Neither of those things happen. So what St. Nicholas did...
Maybe don't share this with the kids.
Oh yeah, don't do that. Again, St. Nicholas is a different person than Santa. St. Nicholas becomes Santa.
You're ruining my worldview.
Listen.
I thought they were all the same. I thought Krampus... Before we started this, I thought Krampus was also Saint Nick.
No, but they're good friends.
BFFs?
They're BFFs.
For, one's a good guy and one's a...
They literally travel together house to house.
Oh.
Yeah.
This is news.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
One person's like, here's a present. The other person's like, here's a present.
They can. The face.
No, he's pulling a stick out.
Oh.
He's whapping you. Stick action.
Cut
off your head, eat you, put you in a bag. Take you to Helheim.
Of the possible negative repercussions of being naughty, I think I would choose the getting whacked with a stick.
Yeah.
Over the getting...
You don't get a choice. You do. That's not true. You get a choice to be bad. You choose what level of bad you want to be.
That's fair.
You're like, I want to be just bad enough to get smacked with a stick because I'm down with that.
Yeah, that's my jam.
That's where I draw the line, though. The head chopping off. Not cool.
So, do you know of something between the stick and the head chopping? I mean, getting stuffed in a
bag is kind of like the middle ground. I think he whips people with chains occasionally. That might be the next level.
That's not good.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't. Zero recommendations.
No, not
0 out of 5 stars.
First of all, being able to whip a chain. That's...
No, I mean, if it's a thin chain, you could probably whip a thick chain. I don't want to be around for that.
No.
Cut off my head. Let's call it a day. Yeah, that sounds way worse.
Yeah.
This is at least quick.
True. Okay.
5, 6, 7. It's like keep watching you like, you son of a bitch.
As soon as you said that they travel together, I'm curious if the reindeer come into this?
They don't, no,
No.
because this is the older school belief where they literally walked door to door. Because again, in Saint Nicholas' time, the man, not Santa Claus, one of the things he did was he donated money to the poor. But he wasn't like, oh, there's this organization, I'm going to give money to them. He literally would go house to house,
To
and
the
he
poor people.
would throw bags of money into their houses or down their chimneys. Because again, their chimneys were not like on top of a giant house. Their chimneys were like right out the side, so they would throw money in. And
Seems like a poor decision. Like, what if the fire's on? You're just gonna get melted.
I feel like you
Cold.
would see smoke coming out of a fireplace if you knew the fire was
I
on.
mean, yes, that's fair. It's true.
Okay. So he would throw it in there. So that's where the chimney came from. There's a story of three sisters that he threw money through a window to, and the money landed in their shoe. And that's where the basis of the stockings came from, as putting gifts in.
Interesting.
And if in German folklore, they currently still put boots outside for Santa to put, gifts in to this day. So, and that boots, stocking, shoe, it all kind of like there was a long time where these like stories were slowly changing. And again, our concept of Santa Claus is, from Coke / advertisements. And stockings really became popular in photos, fireplaces, having that whole scenic view.
Yule tides.
Exactly. And, old cartoons where they'd put the stockings up and they'd shove them full of stuff and there'd be a hole in the bottom of the stocking and the stuff would fall out. So it grew and grew. I mean, because back in the day when there were stockings on, they were your socks. They were, your Adidas socks hung up. Probably weren't
Probably
Adidas.
not Adidas, yeah.
But they'll stop, like just a long white sock,
Right.
and you stuffed them with, candies. And Santa would come by and be like, and then it's just now we got greedy and our stockings are huge.
Yeah, I mean, I probably could fit both of my feet in my stocking.
Yeah. I can't. Our stockings aren't that big, but they're well bigger than an Adidas.
Yeah, a pair of socks.
But there were a time, I know when I was a kid, there was a stocking big enough for me to stand in. And one year,
That's rather large.
I mean, I was a small person,
Yeah.
but I could
Elf size?
get in it. And then I know for my kids, I got them those. I'm gonna roll right over it.
That'd be fun. That'd be a fun, like the potato sack race thing.
That's basically what it
Neat.
was.
I like
I mean, again, not our size,
Yeah.
but a child size. So yeah. So little background of
Quite a-
where
quite
that
a
came from.
tangent.
Little tangent. But anyways, Krampus. I got some Krampus facts.
Some little factoids about Krampus.
Some factoids about Krampus.
Please lay them on me. I would like to know about them.
Prepared to be laid. You walked into that one.
Okay.
All right, so I had said this one earlier, but I'll give you a little bit better. His name means claw.
Okay.
The name Krampus comes from the old High German word meaning Krampen instead of Krampus, meaning claw. So that's that.
Hydro.
He's a pre-Christian figure. Krampus precedes Christianity and is thought to have originated from pagan winter solstice celebrations, which is also where we got the Christmas tree from.
Yeah.
He's a companion to Saint Nick. While Saint Nicholas rewards well-behaved children, Krampus punishes the naughty ones. He's known to carry birch branches. He's known to carry a sack or a basket. So one of the things we didn't discuss is Krampusnacht. Excuse me.
We did sort of like when
We said it existed. So Krampusnacht is a celebration on December 5th, which just happened. Krampusnacht or Krampus Night is when Krampus roams the streets, often as part of a parade or festival. So,
Do they like dress them up still? Like they?
they go
Yeah.
all out. So there are people that must spend thousands of dollars on these costumes, and they're literally allowed to smack people with sticks while they're going through the parade.
I love the idea of there being like laws or sort of caveats to the laws of on this night if you're dressed up as Krampus you can beat the shit out of people with a stick.
That's what the rule is. If you don't want to get beat up, go home. You're not welcome here. There's also a lot of drinking. This is a German festival.
Yes, and it's after Oktoberfest. Lots of
Yeah, they've already had the warm up round.
yeah.
They've eaten all the food on Thanksgiving like we did last month, and it's what it is.
Yeah.
So yeah, that page is done. So that's November or December 5th. December 6th is Saint Nicholas Day. So the night before is Krampus Night. The next day
Is it like
Nicholas
actually
Day.
the feast day of Saint Nicholas?
Yes. Yeah,
Neat.
more
Okay.
of a religious holiday,
Yeah.
not Christmas necessarily.
That's really cool. I didn't know there was a. I mean, I don't know why I didn't think about that. I just didn't know
I
that.
honestly never really thought about it either until I did this research. I know about Krampusnacht because I hear about that every year. Krampus has just become a much bigger figure in the last 20 years. A book came out, like he was almost unknown in the U.S. and a book came out about him in the 70s where he was like evil. But it really kind of opened up the U.S. market. It was a really good book. It didn't portray him necessarily in the most common way, but in one of the ways that he's thought of. And it kind of has exploded since the 70s and
Now there's
become.
like movies.
Now it's huge. Yeah, there's probably 10 Krampus horror movies, if not more. We're seeing more and more images of him online. We're seeing more and more, like I said, very popular for a long time on greeting cards. It was like a big thing.
Well, you said like during World War II. I didn't. That's interesting to me because it's like you'd think you'd know of the history of that in that particular. It's like
Yeah.
it's not.
It kind of died off for 30 years or something,
Right.
and then started slowly becoming part of our culture and pop, our pop culture more importantly, which is when it got really big. So, but they actually now in the U.S. in like cities like Chicago and New York have Krampus nights where people dress
Neat.
up and do those parades, and it's growing.
Maybe we should do that next year.
Yes, I think we
Let us
should
know.
design Krampus night for the Wisconsin area that we're in.
Ooh, that's badass, but also that'd take a lot of work.
I don't want to do that much work.
Like
Somebody
this
else do
past
it, and we'll
month,
join it.
This past month has been very
It's been a long month.
stressful and so like
Yeah.
I can't imagine only having
I have
a year.
aged. I feel like I've aged
Yeah.
quite a bit in the last month.
And I've got a lot more like
That's, the
grays.
white,
and-
it's just filled out this month.
yeah,
It's weird.
It's difficult for us. For
Very
sure.
weird. So he's a part of the duo with Saint Nick. So on December 6th, Saint Nicholas Day, the good children get gifts while the naughty ones face Krampus's wrath.
Those fucking naughty kids. Say yeah.
The Krampus parade is popular in Europe, but is becoming more commonplace in the U.S. as well, especially in major cities like Chicago and New York. Krampus was suppressed by the church. During the spread of
Doesn't
Christianity,
really surprise me.
no, the church tried to suppress Krampus traditions because of its pagan origins, and eventually they just rolled over and added it to their origins. That's the Christian thing to do.
Really,
You can't beat it, join it, or make it part of who you
Yeah,
are.
that's
Here's a funny one, though. It was also banned by fascists in the 1930s.
okay.
So Austrian fascists banned Krampus, labeling him a symbol of sin and socialism.
Definitely don't want to be that of the two, Krampus and Santa Claus. I feel like Krampus is less socialist.
I'm telling you, like, I just think it didn't. The older beliefs in general, I think they were
just
trying to modernize everything and like let's cut the fat from
Yeah,
this.
they wanted the state to be more important than religion.
Than religion. So I get it. But again, I think Santa would have been the one I lean on a little bit more. But
Yeah.
you got to draw the line. If you lose the people entirely,
Right. That's there'd probably be a revolt if we got rid of Happy Saint Nick from Coca-Cola days.
Yeah.
Don't fuck with our ideas.
So we discussed the greeting cards. So Krampus punishes in many ways depending on the legend. He might swat, kidnap, or drag children to the underworld.
So SWAT is even less than I mean, unless they mean SWAT with the stick.
Yeah, I mean there's a stick. It's a stick.
It's
It's a swat with
It's like a spanking versus a
yeah. Which in either case, I'd rather have a present. Be a good kid, man.
Yeah, I'm on board.
There's
with
some
that.
concepts.
It's never been bad, so I don't really know.
And sometimes you need a good spanking. That's all I'm saying. It's actually not just children too. So for most of the time,
Good.
he
This
went
gets
after.
more interesting.
For most of the time, they go after kids because it's a concept. But there are some that take it hardcore, and it's adults too. Like you got to be good for the rest of your life, which that sucks.
I mean, it's probably good for society.
I mean, maybe I don't know. You gotta take the good with the bad. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, in some situations.
Some people need to get stuck in a bag. I don't know what to tell you.
Is it like, because it's an adult, you can't really like throw them over your shoulder. So like
It's
they'd be dragged
I
along.
mean, Krampus is a big dude. He can do what he can do.
Okay.
I know we discussed a few of these, but like pop culture, he's in books and movies, video games in recent years. He's got the duality associated with good and evil with either Santa Claus or Saint Nicholas specifically. his story changes regionally. So some versions of Krampus are more terrifying, and others depict him as a mischievous prankster. Which so basically what we've discussed.
Yeah.
He's not always evil. In some traditions, Krampus is less about punishment and more about teaching lessons through fear.
Which
Which
is
is the way I've always looked at him too. I mean,
seems more useful. Like, if he's just evil, it's sort of like,
well, then he's
what
just like
lesson
a,
are you learning there?
and he's like a devil creature. It's like, oh well, there's no lesson to be learned. Your head's gone, and you're in a sack, and you're gone.
Have fun in
So
Helheim.
the concept of him being like prankster slash teacher, but using fear,
Yeah.
and this is a powerful teaching tool,
Yeah.
especially back in the day, then
Absolutely.
I think that really has always made sense, which I've always considered him like chaotic neutral. So like he's scary and does bad things, but he's really there to equal things out.
Right.
He's
He's
trying
not
to
just-
make things like equal and plain and good instead of because if you just kill a bunch of kids, it's not necessarily going to make other kids listen.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to make them fearful, but it's not going to, like, the lessons aren't learned.
Yeah, because those kids are gone.
just
There's
terrified.
nothing to learn. They're just, oh, you're bad. Well, now you're gone too.
Yeah.
It's not really helping the situation. So yeah, last one for this is Krampus's images vary widely. So depending on the depiction, Krampus can appear as like a full demon. He can be a goat man hybrid, or even a comically scary figure. So generally, though, he's horns, hooves, claws, teeth, furry, and a animal slash human face.
When you said comically scary, are they saying, like,
I think it's because
just so over the top? Like,
yes, yeah. So a lot of the greeting cards and like movie versions of him make him out to be so like over the top.
Gotcha.
If you were to watch, I actually really liked in Supernatural, the TV show, there was an episode where they went up against Krampuses. It was actually a husband and wife Krampus, if I remember correctly, during the Yuletide, and they actually do a really good job of like bringing in a bunch of the old like Norse, like the things that they did and the rules that they lived by. They weren't bad.
Right.
They just you did the I just got to do this. This is my job type of a thing.
Right.
Look that episode up if you're interested in Supernatural. It's a fun holiday episode. But I love that they really kind of brought in a bunch of the old, like they had the reeds and they had like all the old holiday traditions and stuff like that, and the rules as to what created what they had to do to if you were bad. It's like they didn't have an option. This is my job.
Right. Interesting. It's like brings it full circle. See, not having been exposed to the Krampus side of things, it's really kind of eye-opening to see you get the Santa Claus, Saint Nick side, but having the yin and the yang, having the counterbalance instead of just having one, jolly, comically good side of and the Christmas time is uplifting typically, but it's nice.
It
to
is
sort
in the
of,
U.S.
right.
at least, yeah.
It's nice to sort of have that kind of counterbalance though, and to at least know of it.
Yeah, and that's really what it is. It's about making sure everyone is being good and thoughtful and nice and having, and not just like, oh, it's Christmas, so I get stuff. And that's
Right.
like becoming more of a thing in U.S. and Western and probably even Canada, Europe. Like, but some of these they still kind of bring it back.
Commercialized now.
Yeah.
With the Coke version coming into
Coke version,
Pepsi all the way.
Pepsi for life.
I'm glad you just smacked the microphone. Good.
More?
Please don't.
Oh, I'm done.
I'm gonna have to fix this shit in post production.
There's no post production here, folks.
No, this
not
shit's
one
going
bit.
directly onto the
There are no cutting.
YouTubes.
Sometimes I have to leave and pee. It's just in there. You just don't listen.
Our first version had recording of him peeing and farting. It was
You couldn't hear the fart. I could hear it. All right, we kind of went over this stuff, but his pagan origins, basically, he's a horned figure. He's also known to be part of the Wild Hunt, if anybody's familiar with that, like European folklore.
okay.
He was one of the leaders of the Wild Hunt.
This is like pagan stuff.
Yeah, that's old, like
Okay.
old school pagan stuff. Basically, I guess a rough estimate is like around Halloween night, the Wild Hunt would be let loose. It was ran by people of the level of Krampus or
What were they
other
hunting?
old deities. They're basically the Wild Hunt hunts everything, and you either join the Wild Hunt or you're taken by it. So if you decide to join the Wild Hunt, you can survive it, but that means you have to hunt other things. If you refuse to join, you're killed. It's just like old fairy and
I don't like that.
yeah,
I'm not on board with that
it's
one.
like an all Hallow Eves thing. But he was one of the people that was known to like lead the Wild Hunt.
Yeah.
But there's other um,
Versions.
versions and fairies and things. There's the Earl King and like there's other things that have been known to
Sounds like a
run.
future episode.
It probably isn't. It's not that exciting.
Okay. Well, I tried, guys.
I mean, we could probably do it on the Earl King in general, but not the Wild Hunt.
I mean, if the Wild Hunt involves the Earl King.
We'll touch base on it then, just like we're touch base on it now.
Okay.
If you're interested in the Wild Hunt, open a book, dude. Open a book.
Why would you do that? Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that.
Nobody got time for that. What do we got in here? Anything good? We did all that.
People need to let us know if the paper kind of distracting. I think you did great.
Listen,
Other than the reading at the beginning, you did great.
you read great at the beginning.
I have skills.
You got mad skills.
Apparently, reading is one of my mad skills. I'm on board with it.
Perfect. So that's Krampus. You got any questions about Krampus I could answer for you? Off the cusp?
Or you,
Cuff?
cuff.
Off the cuff.
Yeah, I think it's cuff.
I don't know.
Uh,
That seems obvious to me.
I feel like you really covered Krampus in detail.
It's tough because there's so many sides of him that you could really delve into, but it's just a quick Christmas episode. We just want to sneak one in a month after the last one.
Yeah, I mean,
Weeks
not even
after.
a month.
Weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago.
That's crazy.
3 weeks ago, something like that.
Crazy. We're on this.
It's alarming how on top of everything we are.
It's impressive.
People-
You're all welcome.
Yeah, seriously, it's a skill we have, and we're happy to share it with you. I think Krampus is
In the books.
yeah, and interesting. That was a good one.
It's good. I like Krampus. I think it's a fun character.
Yeah, and like I said, I had almost no exposure to it, so it's like I'd heard the name, but
So
probably from you.
it's fair. I do have another interesting tidbit. So we did discuss that he takes people back to hell or Helheim.
Yes.
Odin is a representation of Santa Claus in some mythology.
Okay.
So
Is Helheim like an actual place?
So
Like a
Helheim
physical.
is the place. Hel is the person. It's the daughter of Loki.
Oh,
So Loki is the
this
adopted son of Odin.
should this be a whole
Yeah, we're not going to get into Greek mythology too much, I don't think.
Greek? Norse.
Norse mythology too much. They're all the same if you really look at them.
They can, yeah.
So Loki had Hel as a daughter. Hel is half a beautiful woman and half a rotting corpse. She is in charge of Helheim, which is the hell of the Norse mythology. But her name is Hel. And then one of her children, which she has several, is Krampus. In some of the North tale, Northern tales. Again, there's multiple Germanic tales and European tales. And,
Wild.
yeah. So
It's really
that's a fun
interesting.
little tidbit for you.
I don't know if fun is the word I would use.
It's a terrifying little tidbit
There
for
we go.
you.
Now we're talking. I'm glad I didn't get raised thinking about that stuff.
Yeah, me too, man. I think I was aware of who Krampus was by my, teenage years, but not in the raising
Yeah,
aspect of it. It was definitely Coke, Santa,
yeah. No, the happy one, the jolly.
the terrifying one. I mean, what kid likes Santa in person?
That's a good point. They're always yelling like in
Yeah,
the mall. They're
screaming.
Screaming. They can't stand it. I did see one where you could have your pets with Santa. That's weird.
Really? All right.
I'd like to
Please
see.
don't spend money on that.
No, but I'd like to see Harvey clawing the eyes out of Santa
Santa.
Claus. Yeah, that'd be a great, cover to a Christmas card.
Just a Christmas album.
There you go.
Santa Slayer.
That's his new nickname.
Jesus. Yeah,
All right.
he's up in the tree a lot, it looks like.
Yes, no, it's definitely ruining everything. To sum that up nicely.
Very nice.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have any delightful Christmas tidbits you'd like to discuss? Any
we could.
fun Christmas?
I'm traveling for Christmas, so we're going down to visit my family for
Nice.
Christmas. So we're going to be out of town. We don't really have as strong Christmas like dinner tradition as we do like Thanksgiving when we were talking about the cream corn and
Oh, fuck yeah,
all
cream
that
corn,
stuff. Yeah,
baby.
fuck yeah, cream corn.
Oh, did you get Hawaiian bread?
No,
Yeah, we didn't. I know. We
this
discussed Hawaiian
this
bread.
makes me sad.
We discussed whole containers of Cool Whip. I got
The,
no Cool Whip.
well, I mean, we should probably fix this.
We had this whole conversation.
Okay, listen,
Listen,
I'm not perfect.
Thanksgiving dinner was delicious.
Yeah,
No argument.
right. But we're looking forward to Christmas dinner.
But
Do you guys do any
no,
Christmas
so we
dinner?
don't. I was just gonna say that it's weird. Like Christmas dinner growing up when I was really young, and I know with my parents' generation was like Christmas dinner was a thing. It was like ham.
Yeah.
It was like
Like
a
it was more than
sit down
Thanksgiving.
thing. Yeah, it was as big or
that was
bigger.
the family get together thing.
Whereas as I got older, and definitely as we moved out of the house and had our own families, dinner kind of fell to the wayside. Like
Right.
I think we've gone and seen a movie like the day of Christmas in the evening more than we've ever had dinner. And we don't do that every year,
No.
but it's happened more often than dinner. We generally do. So we've got a pretty good tradition that we do. We get up in the morning, see what Santa Claus brought.
So this is Christmas Day,
Christmas
not
Day.
Christmas Eve. This
Yeah,
is,
you know what? Let's start Christmas Eve.
okay.
I'm gonna
that's
rewind.
When I'm talking Christmas dinner, we did it Christmas Eve. So
Oh,
we would
okay.
and we would always have our Christmas Eve, like big fancy dinner get together, and everybody would open one present to the family kind of present stuff,
Yep.
and then you go to bed and Christmas Day was Christmas morning was the big fancy openings and stuff. Yeah. Ooh,
Pardon me.
You-
Excuse me.
yeah, I'll allow it.
That's the noise I make.
But so for you, Christmas Eve was not as big a
No,
deal?
I mean, it wasn't that it wasn't a big deal. When I was really young, we would go to my aunt and uncle's house with my grandparents and do a Christmas Eve gift exchange, and they would party. It wasn't a dinner so much as like partying.
Okay.
Like there was like
Like a
drinking, and social gathering,
Yeah,
lots of fun, lots
yeah.
of everybody just getting together, the kids running around and having fun. And then as we got older, we just we didn't get together as a family that much anymore, especially as I became like a teenager and the grandparents got older. And
Yeah.
but now we get together with my wife's family. We do our Christmas with my wife's family on Christmas Eve every year. So we do usually have some
That's sort
kind
of the
of
whole extended family.
yeah, yeah, and it's like all day. Like we go there like early in the day, and it's not just an evening thing. It's like all day long, and then we just hang out and we do a gift exchange, and we do either white elephant or we do ornament exchanges, and it's just a whole day of spending time with family, which is awesome. I love doing that. And then at the end of the night, we go back home, and my two daughters exchange their gifts to each other before they go to bed.
Nice.
And my mother usually comes over, and she has a Christmas box that she puts together, and that usually has things like Christmas pajamas and hot cocoa and stuff to put out for Santa and for the reindeer. And then they do all that, and then they go to bed. And then Christmas morning is Christmas morning. And usually, for years, everybody came here, and we would open up. My parents would come over, my sister and brother and stuff would come over, and then we do Christmas morning, and we always make coffee, eggnog, and cinnamon rolls. Like that's every year since as far back as I could remember.
And I do recall being involved in some of those.
Yeah,
sometimes.
you've definitely
come
eaten
over
a
from-
cinnamon roll or two.
or 5.
Yes, and they're delicious.
Yes.
My daughter's actually making them from scratch this year. Yeah, she's made some good cinnamon rolls.
I might have to cancel my trip.
Cancel Christmas.
Yes.
So, and then we open up presents and stockings and the whole thing, and then we usually do like sandwiches for lunch. It's been sandwiches for years
Sort of
now.
like fairly basic.
And then everybody kind of goes their own way, and like Christmas
Christmas Day night is
Day
nothing.
night is not really much of anything anymore. It's a very relaxing. The kids go hang out with their friends, or we go. Like I said, in the past we've gone and seen a movie a lot on Christmas Day. Yeah, it's just
Well, it's nice to
very
sort
laid
of
back.
have the tail end of the holiday be unwind. Just sort of kind of relaxing versus. It can get a little too people-y sometimes.
Yeah, it can.
You get a lot of
Especially if you spent the whole Christmas Eve,
Right.
and I like that the Christmas in the middle of the week this year. I hate
Yeah.
when Christmas is on the weekend. It's
Yeah.
like so sad.
I agree. Yeah.
And last year it was not
Was it
great.
It was Friday, Saturday, or
It
something?
was Friday, Saturday, or Saturday. It was not good. And now it's like Tuesday, Wednesday. So that's kind of really nice. Which also means the first, New Year's is also going to be pretty sweet. So that works out well for the kids having off.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a lot of tradition, but and the only thing that really changes is now we go to my sister's house for Christmas morning because her kid is younger than ours, and it just makes
it's
the
just
most sense.
easier to go over
Absolutely,
there.
yeah, it's a lot of fun. So
Do
yeah,
you have any unique, at least in your mind, unique Christmas traditions that you share with either your family or your kids? It's like your two daughters having a unique opportunity to share their presence between them is neat. I mean, that's kind of
yeah,
an
I guess
intimate thing that I've
yeah,
never heard of.
I guess some of those things are. I feel like a lot of people do things, and then other people have never even heard of it, which is the wild thing about traditions. Like I think we have more like Thanksgiving traditions that are unique than Christmas
The
ones.
Thanksgiving tree.
Yeah, we have a Thanksgiving tree where the kids make a hand every year and they put what they're thankful for, and then we put it on the tree with other, ornaments, and
I
it
really like
grows
that
and grows.
tradition.
I love that
Cool.
tradition, and I think a few people have picked it up from us. And that's my wife came up with that. It's one of those things where we couldn't afford a big tree when we first got together, so we had a little tree, and we were trying to figure out something to do with the kids that would be unique, and she thought of that. I'm like, well, we'll put the tree up and it'll just stay up, and we'll take the ornaments off and put new ones on for Christmas. And
Well, it really drives the point home that the experiences are the important thing versus like we were saying with the Coca-Cola Santa Claus. It sort of has become more kind of commercialized across the board, but the moments that you spend and the experiences are much more important.
they definitely are. And I know like even the kids at their age now, as teenagers, they can't wait to hang out with family and get to, experience all that. Do they still want the gifts? Yeah, they definitely are pumped about. I wrapped gifts last night and put like 6 under the tree because I like to that's the other thing. Like some people don't put any gifts under the tree.
Yeah, until
There was a time when they were younger where just like Santa comes on Christmas, we would also put all our presents for them under the tree on Christmas too. So it would go from like nothing under the tree to like a whole bunch of stuff under the tree. But now as they get older, I like to like sneak some into there just slowly. And every time they come home and they see presents under the tree, they know if there's new presents under the tree. I don't care if they're tiny. They're just like, I feel a presence in the force. There's a new box, and they'll like zoom under the tree and look around, and it's so fun to see that even as teenagers that they're like still really into the holiday. But yeah, they can't wait for Christmas and be able to spend time with family. They love to go shopping and get gifts for the gift exchanges and stuff like that. But yeah, I think again, like it's not really, it's a tradition, but not one like that I feel like is weird, but like we have the same food every year. We have had cinnamon rolls since I can remember as a child up through now to this day. We make the same brand. Like
Yeah.
like I said, my daughter's gonna make some. We'll still have.
Is it Pillsbury?
It's not. It's the other one that's like a super like common one. But yeah, and like my dad won't eat them if they're not those. Like he I don't. You can make the best homemade ones you've ever heard of. Me. He's like, where's the really shitty one for me? And I'm like, yeah, we got those too. Don't worry. And then like Lauren likes another brand, so now we make like 3 different kinds, and I like all of them, so I'm happy. And like the ones my daughter makes are amazing, and then the ones my wife likes has the cream cheese frosting, which I like that.
Yeah.
And then I like the old school ones because I grew up with them. They're my least favorite, but they're still delicious, and I'm still gonna have 2 or 3 of those things. They're way smaller. Whereas like the ones my daughter makes are like, eat this. It's
You
like,
should make
you're not
sure
getting any. You're leaving me. You're taking a hike down to the
via plane.
yeah. Either way,
I'll hike in
I'm
the
mad
plane
with
so
you.
that mad with me.
I'm mad with you.
Whoa.
So yeah, that's like I guess the closest thing to tradition is just like when we do things, and my mother-in-law has a tradition of giving everybody cereal, which is awesome. It's just cool. It's like she does it every year, and on Christmas Eve, everybody gets their own box of cereal, which is cool. And I something that they did even when the kids were, excuse me, sorry about that. I don't know why I'm making that noise. So yeah, she does that every year. So I was in the I just got a message from her today. Like I need
Need a list.
everybody's favorite cereal for some reason. And I'm like, oh, weird. That's strange that she's
Like,
intrigued in my cereal preferences all of a sudden. But I mean, it's just one of those things that like the girls love it. I think it's a great tradition.
well, it's a fun little thing to,
Hmm.
that doesn't break the bank, but
No,
it's
exactly, and it's food,
yeah.
which like nowadays, like I'll take food for free anytime.
Yes.
Um, So yeah, those are probably the closest things to traditions. It's just like kind of the order in which you do things, the exchanging of the girls' gifts in Christmas Eve, which they really look forward to, and then my parents coming over with their Christmas boxes, and she does them for my kids and my sister's kid, and that's probably the closest thing to tradition. We don't do anything. Okay, so here's something else that we do. I mean, and it's very common. We have an advent calendar. But at our house, instead of having just like the ones that you open, I bought an advent calendar when the girls were really small that we put candy in. So I can pick and choose
It's
what
like
kind of candy.
you're reusing it.
We've had the same
one?
advent calendar since they were little. And it's just like it looks like a Christmas tree, and it's got little boxes for each day, and they flip
Nice.
around with the number, and then it has a picture on the other side. So we've done that, and then we've always done the 12 days of Christmas, where the girls get a present in their stocking every day for the 12 days of Christmas, which every year I always forget starts on the 13th and not the 12th, because math.
Yeah, no, it's hard.
Yeah, so in fact, today is the first day they got something in their stocking.
Is,
So
is it the morning or is they come
so the morning, so you wake up in the morning and there's
a little gift?
something in their advent calendar and then a gift in their stocking, and it's very like super minimal things, and a lot of time it's food. Like I get them some kind of snack.
There's some
that they
steak and
like.
eggs.
Yeah, it's not made. There's an ice pack, it's taking some eggs in a stocking.
It's fantastic.
But they were super pumped to get up this morning
Yeah.
and go check their stocking. They got Rice Krispie treats today.
I like
So
it.
it's a good start. Like start a little low, and they get a little better, but nothing is like they're all like
All the good shit.
$1
Yeah.
items or less. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
it's like 24 gifts. Like, there's no cars in there or anything.
Keys.
Yeah, it's just like another Porsche. Thanks, Pop.
Aww. Speaking of like traditions, though, the one that I'd never heard of White Elephant before I spent time with you guys.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's more common than I knew about.
Yeah, I
But-
think it's pretty. I mean, again, not everybody does it, but I've definitely.
Yeah, it's just not a thing that my family ever did, or any of the families that I kind of
Grew up
Yeah,
around.
right.
Well, and that makes sense because I feel like if one of them did it, that's what ends up happening. People are like, "Oh, that's a good idea. We'll
fun.
do that," because it's
Yeah.
almost a game.
right. And that's something that I've sort of stolen a little bit the past two Christmases. I've sort of taken that down
Son of a bitch.
down south to my family and
Better give me a cut.
no,
Oh, all right, fine, whatever.
not going to do that.
Whatever. Bastard.
But that's the fun thing about tradition and sharing it with people that are not related with you
Mhm.
is you sort of get the exposure of everybody else's neat little things that they do that you can
Yeah.
sort of turn into your own.
Absolutely.
I love that kind of stuff.
Well, and even like we don't do the white elephant anymore. Funnily enough, we've stopped doing that. And we switched it to a ornament exchange.
Huh.
So it's kind of the same thing, and we do it the same way. So you still pick and choose and steal and all that.
Yeah.
But instead of, I guess it would get to the point where a lot of it was junk, and it's like, oh, okay, thanks. Now I got to take this home,
Right.
and then I would just leave it at my sister's house.
Yeah.
I mean,
Stuff was cool.
and that's the thing. Like if
Some people
everything
feel
was
like they get it. Some people like, oh,
yeah. Whereas with the ornaments, everybody's got a tree, and like, yeah, some are better than others. Like somebody made one with Ricky's face on it last year, and like there's ones like that, and they become really fun. And then other ones are just nice ornaments.
Yeah.
We had some Harry Potter ones, and we had like Disney ones, and so generally everybody's happy with what they walked away with when it's said and done, and you still get the same game, and you still have a good time, and it's fun to have the whole family together doing it. So, yes. But yeah, the white elephant is. I think this will be our second year of not having it.
Well,
But it's still a cool. I like the idea.
Yeah.
It's just I feel like either the stuff's way too good or it's way
everybody
too
wants that
bad.
one thing.
Yeah, and then everyone's just trading for that one thing. Whereas with the ornaments, people like, oh, I like that, or I like Harry Potter, or I like whatever,
like
or I want a picture
flipping
of
over some
Ricky's
part.
face on my tree, which FYI I have.
Nice.
I won that one, and it's awesome.
hell yeah.
I sent him a picture of it when I put it on the tree.
That's great. So we're right about an hour.
Yeah, we're right about an hour. I only have one final question for you.
Okay.
What is your favorite Christmas movie?
So my answer is not going to be satisfactory.
I disagree. There's no wrong answer unless you don't say Die Hard.
Was Die Hard.
Oh, well, that's a perfectly good answer.
So this is one of those things that is extremely controversial.
It is not. It's just a fact.
For us.
And for everybody who is American.
Okay, well, I don't think that's accurate, but I'm glad we're on the same page. It would have, I've known Keith for 11 years, and this would have been pretty unfortunate to lose our relationship over.
We would have.
The Die Hard movie question.
You know what else is a great
That's
Christmas
why I was
movie?
kind of like, ooh, what's that?
Lethal Weapon.
Okay, yep. It's interesting how many great, late 90s movies
Take place around the holidays.
Yeah.
I think it's because big blockbusters are released around Christmas. I think it's a common time, or it was a common time before streaming to release movies. So by sneaking in a seasonal aspect to them, it felt right.
Drives the market.
Another great one is Gremlins. The original Gremlins movie takes place during Christmas, and it's very like there's Christmas lights. There's Gremlins like playing in the lights. Like it's very. There's a whole story about the main characters, the girl's dad dying in the chimney. It's just like this fun movie, and then all of a sudden you get this like terrible story in the middle of it about dad dying on Christmas Eve. Oh, it's rewatch it. It's
I'll have to revisit that one.
Okay. While I agree with you wholeheartedly, what about a Christmas-orientated Christmas movie that you watch every year that's like a staple?
So the Peanuts Christmas is probably
Great.
One of one of those just all-time
Absolutely.
perfects.
Absolutely.
And I really like the claymation.
Nightmare Before Christmas?
No,
Thank you. Fuck that movie.
The claymation Rudolph.
Oh yeah. That whole I can't remember the name of the guy that made all those, but it's like that whole he did the Frosty the Snowman, and they were all the claymation ones. Nobody wants a Roger in the box. Exactly, they're so good.
Yeah,
the kids and I watch those every year. They're great. The Rudolph one's good, but those are all really really good.
Yeah.
Harold, is it Dowell? Something Dowell that made all those? Roland Dowell? Anyways, there's a guy that did all those, and they're all to this day hold up. Great.
They were staples when I was growing up. Yeah. It's like they've always been fantastic movies, and that's probably why I still like them. They're just sort of they stick around and they hold their enjoyment.
Yeah, they do.
Level.
I know.
Like for Christmas movies that my family has historically always watched.
Yep.
Is Christmas Vacation.
I mean, that one's a classic. 100%.
It's one of those ones that you watch it right after Thanksgiving kind of thing. Like when everybody's still around for Thanksgiving, you're like, okay, we're getting. Let's
put a holiday movie on.
Christmas
that's not
Vacation.
Planes, Trains, and Automobiles because that's a Thanksgiving movie. Favorite Thanksgiving movie? I know we didn't mention it last month when we were talking about Thanksgiving movie. Was Dutch. Have you ever seen Dutch?
Never seen it.
Great movie. Ed O'Neill in his prime. So good. Check it out.
Okay.
I think for me, my favorite. I mean, first off, we watched Home Alone right after Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving weekend, Home Alone. The girls are like, let's watch Home Alone. I'm like, yeah.
This is the problem with this question, is there's so many.
Oh, there's so many.
And I mean,
but there's only a
Tim
handful
Allen's,
that I watch every. Like, I don't watch it. I don't like that movie.
Really, Tim Allen Santa?
Not a fan.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think it's a terrible movie, but like I watched one, it's good. I'm good. It's not a rewatch for me.
Sure. What about which Grinch?
Jim Carrey or the cartoon, like the cartoon from like the 80s.
Okay. So
Sweet Jesus,
whoa,
I am popular.
Way more popular than I am.
I mean, I'm sure yours is not silent, right? Sweet Jesus. All right, I'm gonna just take a second and silence this.
Luckily, we made it 58 minutes and 42 seconds into the episode before he had to deal with that.
I mean, it went a few times, but that's the thing. Like, there's so many good Christmas movies, and there's Christmas movies that like if it's on, I'll watch it. And there are Christmas. I just silenced you. Shut it. Head, move. It's like a nose on a toothpick. Oh, he's gonna go cry himself to sleep on his huge pillow. Anyways,
what was that?
That's called a tangent.
What was that?
Mike Myers from So I Married an Axe Murderer.
Okay.
Great movie. Not Christmas.
Is that a Halloween one?
Yeah, it's So I Married an Axe. I think it's
Just
a
sort of
dating movie. It's a good date movie, comedy slash romance slash
okay,
horror, my kind of
okay.
date movie. Christmas Carol, my favorite. So there are 50 of them, maybe more, of versions of A Christmas Carol. Uh, and I like most of them. I like the story a lot. I do prefer like the I can't think of the name of the actor that does it. But there's a couple that I watch every year, and I can't think of which ones they are. But they're older ones. They're
Yeah.
like from the '80s. Um, they definitely have more of that. Like it almost feels like you're watching a play,
Hmm.
but it is in like locations. But I love like the one of my other favorite ones is Disney's the cartoon with Mickey Mouse and
Okay.
like
Yeah.
it's that story, and that's a really good one. But I like the old timey British versions of it.
What's the one where the
Christmas
guy
Story.
like gets unremembered from the timeline?
Oh, that's my mom's favorite. It's called A Wonderful Life, if I remember
I really
correctly.
liked. I haven't seen it in a long time, but I remember really enjoying that story. You know, it just
Yeah.
sort of like
I mean, it's the
it
one where
puts.
the angel gets his wings and he's
Yeah,
trying to
yeah, yeah.
show how good of a person. It's a great story. I have a hard time watching it anymore, but I definitely have seen it
Yeah.
many
And
times when I
then
was
there's also
younger.
like Miracle on 32nd Street.
That's another one that I'm not. It's a good one,
Yeah,
and I've seen it. And if it's on in the background and we're with our family, and
right.
I'll watch it. But I'm not gonna. A Christmas Story is another one that I would definitely watch every year. The one with Ralphie shooting his eye out, and
Mm,
um, but yeah, I can't think of. I mean, the cartoon. We watch a lot of the cartoon ones for sure.
yeah.
But yeah, those there's. I can't think of the British one. It's not really a Christmas movie, but everybody watches it at Christmas time, where it's telling like 12 different stories,
Yeah.
and that one's good. I can't think of the name of it. Any other fantastic holiday movies?
I mean, like I said, the problem is there's so many and they're so wide ranged. So like there's the what the fuck is the name of that movie where it's the in Britain where the dating the prime minister. It's like a almost like a musical. My point is that
I think
there's.
we're talking about the same movie.
Are we?
Yeah,
Okay.
because there's a secretary that ends up dating the prime minister at the end of the
Yes.
movie, and then they have a musical at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
The kid playing the drums.
And
It's like 10
the
different stories
the
going on at the same
the
time.
Christmas
I
octopus.
I've watched this movie every year for the last 10 years, and I can't think of the name of it, but I keep wanting to say Can't Hardly Wait. That's not the name of it, but I think it's close.
It's
But great movie,
yeah.
and it takes
It's
place
got Pierce.
during
What's his name? Pierce. What's the guy's name? Is 007.
Pierce Brosnan. He's not in that movie.
Okay. I think we're talking about the same story, but
Yes,
maybe different
maybe.
different versions of the same
I think
story.
Hugh, the prime minister, is played by Hugh Grant in that
Mm,
movie.
maybe
Um,
that's
I think that's who you're thinking of because those two are
similar. Then
looking. Yeah, not. I mean, Hugh Grant's
so,
British, and the other
it's
guy's.
fantastic. And we're talking about the same thing, and neither one of us knows
Know
what
what
we're
we're
talking
talking
about.
about. We're both lost. Feel free to
Uh,
write in the comments
yeah.
that we're
So
morons.
something we forgot. We didn't do this after your Krampus story though. Was the
The Dookie short scale.
yes the
I was going to
scale?
bring it up after
Were you
our
okay?
tangent, but I'm glad you did.
Okay. So
Figure it out, guys. I know it's only been a month, but we need some more ideas
yeah,
on different levels.
yeah. I mean, we've
Because
got
now we have
like
a Moist Toot.
mhm,
We
the
have a middle one, which is, I think, Dad on a roller coaster sharting himself.
that I like
I
that
think
one.
that's 6 or 7, I
Yeah.
believe. And I'd have to go back last month and look. And then a no questions asked call to your best friend for new pants, which is obviously the 13 because that's how
Right.
levels
That's
work
top.
1 through 13.
So we've got the bottom, we've got the middle, and we've got the top.
We
We
need
need to
more
kind of
options.
flesh out
Give us some
the
spots.
meat of the scale.
We know you've all had an incident,
Right.
so
There's lots of
tell us about
sharting going
tell us
on.
about that incident. What happened? Why it happened? What did you have to buy?
Correct.
So on a scale from 1 to 13 with only 3 levels, where are we at with Krampus?
I'd say Krampus is near the middle. Mostly because he could be the bottom or the top of the scale.
That's the thing. It's like you don't know which Krampus you're going to get.
Right. So, like, I think I have to just say that my version of Krampus that I believe in is the kind of more carefree, learning a lesson one.
Yeah.
So I'm going to put him a little lower, just because I want to believe in something that's more oriented in that learning
Yeah,
list.
structured,
Yeah.
like this is a positive, really. It's a scary thing, but it's for a positive outcome.
So I'm going to say a 4.
Okay,
I'm
4.
going to go with a 4 on the Dookie short scale.
I agree. I'm going to go the same way in the sense that that's the version that I'm thinking about. And I would say lower than 4, but if you visually look at what this creature looks like, even if you know he's not coming to cut your head off, drink your blood, throw you a psych, and take you to hell,
Right.
He's still scary looking.
Right.
Like he has got claws and teeth and horns and fur and hooves.
Forked
So like,
tongue.
I'm going to be cautious. Like I know he's coming. I know I wasn't great this year, and you're going to teach me a lesson. I'm not going to get any candy, but don't look directly at me, dude.
Like all
don't
that.
Look at me.
All that coming at you to hit you with a birch stick.
Yeah. Ow.
Ow. That seems a lot going on for a birch stick.
I'm going to give it a 4 too. I agree. I think, it's definitely low end with that creature, but creepy looking.
So what we need from you guys in the YouTube comments is a recommendation for what the number 4 should correspond to. I guess. So we need to kind of.
What is a 4?
I'll in the description. I'll give us what we've got established, and then we'll go from there.
Who does number 2 work for? It's another Austin Powers.
Okay. So like
Mike Myers.
So like who's on second?
It's when he's like number 2 is the name of the bad guy from Austin Powers.
Gotcha.
Who does number 2 work for? Because they're trying to figure out who Dr. Evil was.
Gotcha.
Because he worked for Dr. Evil, but he didn't know he worked for Dr. Evil. So he was choking him out, but they were in a toilet stall. And so he was saying, who does number 2 work for? And the guy in the stall next to him is like trying to figure out like why he's talking about poop in the third person. First person.
One of the funniest creators.
Oh, awesome. Or Mike Myers?
Yeah.
Oh,
in
so good.
Modern movie history. At
so
least.
Good. Yeah.
Okay, so now that we've sort of come to the end, should we address the elephant in the room?
I don't know what elephant. I don't have an elephant.
That it's been a year and a month since we did this.
Has it been a year and a month?
Yeah.
It's been a year and a month. It's been a while. It was not a month. It's been a year and a month. We apologize wholeheartedly.
I mean,
life got in the way.
Life got in the way, and we want to bring it back. So we're going to try and get back to once a month. Try and revisit this maybe in January.
Yeah. With an actual full episode. This one was just kind of getting back into the the feel of it.
Full episode. I mean, we're over an hour.
It is, but we didn't have like a full put together thing. It's really just us chatting a little bit about a topic.
That's what the people want to hear.
That's what I want to hear.
Which is kind of
it's just mostly who's listening to our thing. It's me. It's just me.
We have like 7,000 listens on the Thanksgiving episode. That guy.
It's me.
It's all him.
It's research and development.
Got to make sure that it's still accurate.
You got to pump those numbers, baby.
Yeah, those rookie numbers.
Those rookie numbers. Yeah. So we apologize for the brief delay.
Don't apologize. I mean,
you are unapologetic.
Right. Life is life, and you gotta deal with the punches as they come at you. So sometimes things, obviously life's got to take precedence. So
we're back at it now.
He's definitely grayer. I'm definitely grayer.
Yeah.
Obviously
it has been a long year and a month. It wasn't just a long month. It was a long year and a month.
The joke has been fun for the episode, but hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Let us know what you think, and we'll be visiting your screen and your ears again,
and your cars and your earbuds and your.
Yeah. In like a month or so.
Yeah, we'll definitely do it next month. And until then, the main thing is that we hope that your pants stay Dookie free.
I can't even. All right.
See you guys.
See ya.